The question is that the amendments be agreed to, and I call the honourable member for Wills.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. It's about a year ago, I think, almost exactly a year ago, that I stood here in this place speaking about the Nature Repair Market Bill. That was the first stage of the Albanese government's bold nature positive plan. Now, despite all the bluster that we get from all those opposite and the opposition, we got on with the work over the last year. We got on with the work of putting environmental protection and biodiversity in conjunction with business and First Nations people at the centre of our environmental agenda. That's what happened over the last year. And that testament to the good work of the Minister and all of the government as a whole. That important work continues with the Stage 2 of the Nature Positive Plan, which is before the House today. Now, many of us on this side have spoken many times about the commitment to making sure our shared natural environment is better off for future generations. The rivers, the parks, the reserves, and I know in my electorate, and I'm sure many others in my electorate of Wills, all of those spaces and all around the country, those habitats are such important places for native flora and fauna, as well as shared spaces that have enormous positive impact on the health and happiness of residents. Just walking through them makes a difference to one's mental health, certainly. And in my electorate, the investment that we've made, this government has made, the Albanese government has made to the Moonee Ponds Creek in improving the Moonee Ponds Creek has been remarkable, because it's all about regenerating native species, including the threatened growling grass frog. I must say I haven't seen one yet, but I'm waiting to see one. Native turtles in the creek, and bird life right along the creek, while also improving the community's access and enjoyment of the shared open green spaces. Removing the concrete that was put in place in Moonee Ponds Creek many decades ago. So important for the local community to enjoy the native flora and fauna. So important for young school kids to be able to explore and understand that environment better. It makes such a difference. That Stage 1 opened up private and public investment and introduced the water trigger. And today we turn to improving transparency, education and compliance with what we're debating today. So the Albanese government will create two new bodies, as we know, Deputy Speaker, the Environment Protection Agency and Environment Information Australia. These are the centrepiece of Stage 2 of the Nature Positive Plan, a comprehensive approach to fixing environmental law in Australia. Now, the EPA will have those strong new powers and penalties to better protect our natural environment, and the EIA will provide government and the public with high-quality environmental data, increase transparency and improve access to scientific data. The government released its response to the Samuel Review into the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act back in December 2022. Professor Graham Samuel AC found that the EBPC, and I quote, the EBPC Act is outdated and requires fundamental reform. Well, we've set about doing that, Deputy Speaker. The EBPC was not delivering for the environment, the community or business. And the Albanese government and Minister Plibersek have introduced the Nature Positive Plan. This staged package of reforms is all about protecting the natural environment, increasing transparency, cutting red tape and establishing the EPA, as I've said. So Stage 1 of the Nature Positive Plan came into effect in December last year, in 2023, and included the crucial establishment of the world's first nature repair market and the expansion of the water trigger. Now, the nature repair market has brought together private companies, conservation groups, farmers, landowners to fund real-world projects to improve biodiversity and restore and protect the environment. It's brought business, agriculture and rural communities together, and it's been central to unlocking the investment and delivering long-term outcomes. And unlike those opposite, as I said, all that bluster that we heard when we introduced this last year, we recognise on this side of the House, we recognise the incredible value of centring Indigenous Australians in these projects as well, listening to their knowledge and experience of the land while embracing employment opportunities as well in the regions. The Nature Positive Environment Protection Australia Bill 2024, which we're debating, Deputy Speaker, delivers on this promise by establishing the EPA. And it delivers on the promise by establishing the Environment Information Australia, the EIA. And the Nature Positive Environment Law Amendments and Transitional Provisions Bill provides the powers to the Minister to address many of the unintended outcomes or unforeseen issues related to transitioning
Order.
to the EPA.
I thank the honourable member for Wills. It being 7:30, I propose the question that the House do now adjourn, and I call the honourable member for Mitchell.